What's going on, guys? Thursday, 12:01. We know what that means. Well, maybe for those that come back and rewatch or participate in lives. I'm Marcin. I have done photography for the last 17 years. And today I help folks that are trying to establish their photography businesses. And I basically every week I am here kind of sharing little golden nuggets, whether it's like and to be honest, I we don't really focus as much on like maybe camera and editing part of it because mostly folks like that come into my world they know the camera, right, to whatever extent, right, like we do spend time on it, but like it's not from like a rudimentary very basic information. So usually the folks know the camera, their way around camera. They usually know some editing. They have some editing skills, whether it's Lightroom, Photoshop, or both. And sometimes they also know like their ways around the client. So maybe they did a session, two, three, or whatever. What usually happens is because we don't, nobody teaches this stuff. Um, we really miss the sort of product journey part of it. And even when I say it, a lot of folks are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So I guess I happen to be luckily kind of I stumbled across product world, and inside product in that world, you need to kind of for what I do also full time is you have to understand the whole concept about like creating a product or your offer. And the product or your offer is like it could be your services that you're providing, like photography services, right? And then if you have that offer, you have to understand like how do you hook people into your world to come in and kind of listen, so they so you can actually present your offer, because it's like it doesn't matter, you could be the best photographer in the world with the best editing skills, but if nobody knows about it, you're not going to go far, right? So I always say best photographer with like a if we rate photographer 1 through 10, right? Like a photographer that's like an 8 or 9 with 2 to 3 level of like marketing skills, understanding the product, the brand, the business, the automation, the AI. This is somebody that understands 8 to 9 product, brand, AI, the language, the psychology, the behavioral science behind how we pull people into our world. If we rate them at 8 and 9 and they have 3 to 4 like photography skills, that second person will always win, because clients, quite frankly, a lot of times they come in, we treat photography as our baby, obviously, right? I do, you guys do. And very often clients come in and they don't, they how much do they know about photography or your camera or like off-camera off-camera lighting? Like very little. They're usually the questions they usually ask are like it's usually some sort of like they want to feel confident that the services that you're providing is what they're looking for, that you're going to plan it out, you're going to take care of everything from A to Z, and that's really it. So I always stress it out. Some folks like maybe listening to this like I didn't realize some folks may actually take maybe offended, right? It's like, oh, of course it's about photography. I mean, this is my take on this, because after all, we're running a business, we're generating profits. Numbers are really important. Otherwise, you're going to be a great photographer with zero revenue, right? So that's exactly what I'm spending my time here on today. I'm talking about very simple for a lot of you guys. It may be something you're already familiar with, or you may be. I never look at it as like we're talking about content repurposing, and some people like hear the term, but they're not really sure kind of what it means or how to do it. So that's exactly what I wanted to cover here today. I'm hoping it's going to be maybe a shorter session. I always say that and then I talk for half an hour. So content repurposing, and like I said, it's not like you either repurpose content or not. It's like how good are you? It's like think of it as not 1-0 like a binary, yes or no, right? Think of it as a slider, right? It's more of a dichotomy, like how far you push the slider, how good are you at this skill? Because it's an infinite number of like options, and quite frankly, you can hire a team of, I don't know, 50 people that are going to push your content out there. So that's like, at the beginning is just you, obviously, right? So that's that's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to actually show you, because the way I usually share information is like I show you my actual stuff, like when I'm using a tool, which I'm going to flash on the screen for you guys. It's like that's what I'm sharing. This is not an idea it's not a concept I heard about. It's not something I saw on YouTube. It's something that has been working. So if I'm discussing anything on those calls, those are the things that I actually took at one point, learned, implemented, invested money, and took, worked with a coach or took a class or whatever and implemented, and it worked. So that's what I'm focusing on, and that's what I'm providing here every Thursday. If you have any questions, there's an option of leaving a question, a comment underneath. I think I should have the ability to pull in. Let me see. Do I have a comment? Can I pull something up here? Do you guys mind if I test something? I am just going to see if this comes through. I don't think it does, but that's okay. But I still monitor the screen. So if you get stuck, if something is not making sense, if you need more information, let me know. And I will try to stop and just address the question. Sometimes I wait till the end and then I answer the question. And even if I miss it, even if you're not watching live and you leave questions later, I can always come back and answer those questions. They always help because I know how to kind of structure the content. Like, what's the next thing we need to talk about? Maybe you're stuck somewhere. I got to make sure we sort of remove the kink in the hose so the water can continue to flow, right? And today, content repurposing. Let me switch over. Some of you already know. Those that are here for the first time, I always have a slide deck. Let me pull it up for you guys. And again, the idea here, why repurposing matters. So the way it typically works, I take a look at the slide and then I provide more context, or I give you the story, or I give you like a specific example from like when I switched or when I made a decision to do something different. This way you can kind of understand it better. But why repurposing matters. Content fatigue is real, but automation changes everything. One idea multiplied across every platform. So I remember, I just got to tell you, like, very quickly, I remember when I heard, and this is years ago, right? When I was listening to people about, like, how they post content and how frequent, and it was sort of all over the place, 3 times a day, 3 videos in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Go out there and like copy people from, I don't know what was back in the day, TikTok or Instagram. It's like, go back, look at the trends and whatever. And I always tell folks, there's different reasons for why folks are creating accounts on social media. Some people are there to entertain other people, meaning their primary goal is like create entertainment videos so they can pull as many followers, viewers as they can. That's one way of doing it. So they get like ad revenue stuff, right? But there's other people that do like education content like this, so others can come and take advantage of it, right? So that's a different way of doing it. I don't necessarily care as much about like the number of followers. I just care about the actual people that I can help. And I reach out. This is total transparency. I reach out. I create content. If somebody sees that it like matches, maybe somebody's looking for help with branding. Maybe somebody wants, needs somebody to kind of guide them through how do I build a funnel? How do I link it to my customer journey? How do I automate my process so I'm not wasting my time sending out emails or remembering, I have 10 clients, they have 5 different touch points. Now I have 50, different emails that I kind of have to track in my head. Like, that's craziness. And that's where people fail. So it's like when I create this content, you resonate with it. I always, people always reach out, say, hey, Marcin, I need, this particular piece, like help with this particular piece. We hop on a call, we see if it's a good match, and we move forward. Usually it's one of the 3 buckets that I help with. I always say people usually fail with the branding, with the automation, or the business component. Straight up just kind of knowing the logistics of like scheduling meetings and how to sell. Everybody races that, everybody does the price game, races to the bottom usually, and in the end they quit because they can't get any lower, and it's like, it doesn't make sense. So so that's exactly what we're addressing here with content and then on calls. Back to repurposing, one idea across multiple platforms. I remember when they were saying like, hey, post content all over the place. I was really lost, and quite frankly I was overwhelmed. I remember, I was one guy told me three whatever reels a day, on Instagram, and then additional posts on Facebook. And then he's like, you should also consider YouTube. And I just, because it's like, for me, photography, like when I started originally, was the side thing, and like with the job, with the family, because we had kids, little kids, but we had kids at the moment. I just couldn't, kind of like, felt like I was drinking from a hydrant. So I was looking for ways to, like, somebody to answer this question, like what's like good enough, right? And then finally, this is years later, right? That's exactly what I'm trying to save you here. I stumbled across somebody that kind of was able to calm me down, show me the path, and show me how to like test content and platforms to see what's actually working for me. So I'm not just I remember at the beginning I was lost. So I was saying like, hey, yeah, what platform is good now to post like photography content on? And obviously a lot of people will say like Instagram is the thing. And I'm not saying any platform is good or bad. I'm just saying you have to find a platform that works for you. And when I say that, that means more, you will, after a while, after you guys test a little bit, you'll see that you're going to find your tribe of people that resonate with you on certain platform more than they do on another platform. For me personally, probably if I had to rate them, like YouTube right now, and this is right now, so, and it changed over time, by the way. So for me right now, and even the way I think about it and I prioritize, is YouTube, Facebook, and that's it. Like I do have TikTok account, I do have Instagram account. I had a conversation yesterday, during the interview. I was talking to Chris Benavides, and I even mentioned, like, for me, Instagram, you can take it away. I'm not going to complain. I publish content there, and I may have, like, I don't know, 100 followers, and quite frankly, I don't care. Like, YouTube is where I put a lot of energy in, and Facebook, and those are the two platforms. And then you have to remember, you got to take your folks off of those two platforms, but that's a different conversation for later. So we're repurposing, we're basically creating, so instead of like being overwhelmed and trying to create on all platforms and do the recordings or write the posts and like manually post them and remember to post, and like life happens, you're going to get busy. Eventually you're going to drop it, because it's like you can only sustain it for a week, maybe two, maybe three, maybe if you're super stubborn, maybe you can do it for like 2 months, right? But eventually it gets to you. How do I know? Because I've been there a couple times, actually, not once or twice. So then I started looking for like smarter solutions and how can I do it, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. So, fight fatigue. Automation keeps your content flowing. We all know you have to be in front of your clients. Do you have to be in front of their, do you have to keep their content in front of their face every day? No. Does it help if you're keeping your content in front of their face every day? Yes. That's just logical. The thing is, a lot of times we think that if we're posting a piece of content, like, everybody sees it. Let me tell you a secret. Few people do, because the way you're competing with so much content out there. So even if you have, let's say you have 100 people or 500 or 1,000 people in your sort of circle of friends, we automatically assume that when we post content, that it goes out and all of our friends are now see. And when we post the next day and the next day and the next day, we think like, we're just probably a little annoying with like this content. And I got to tell you, out of your circle of friends, if 3 or 4 saw your actual, maybe more, let's say 5 or 10, out of like 100, it's probably good enough, because Facebook takes it shows it to your friends, but then also it shows it to like 95 random people, just to kind of see, how the content will perform. Is it good or not? Should it be distributed, further? This is how things go viral, right? So like sometimes we think that we've announced something and like everybody in our circle knows. They don't. The only 3 people, maybe it was presented to only like 3 or 4 or 5 people. And now it's the question, did they pay attention? Right? Because if they were busy scrolling through, oh yeah, there's a post from Marcin, and they just continue on scrolling, like even the 5 people that the Facebook was showing it to didn't care. So like you now see that like you have to play the content game better. And I'm just going to say bluntly, like the more content you have out there, think of it as of like, I always say, imagine like somewhere like a road nearby your house and like cars just driving. It's 4 or 5 p.m., right? And it's like, and you're selling your services, right? You're selling hot dogs, and you create this little sign and put it. You see those signs handmade, right? We buy houses for cash or whatever. You put one of those signs on the side of the road, and it's like, okay, I mean, it's better than no sign, but like, would it be better to have one sign or 100 signs? Right? That's how you should be thinking of content. Like, there's never when I talk to like other photographers, or like when I talk to folks that I work with, they struggle with content. Like, it's like, oh, what do I like ideas for content? It's like, it's actually simpler than you think. You're overthinking this whole process, because there's ways on how you can turn one content piece into multiple content pieces without even trying. So automation keeps your content flowing. You're in front of your customer all the time, right? All the time, frequently, right? If you're posting once a week, you don't exist. Like, don't be shocked if clients are not reaching out, calling, because you don't. In just the, especially now with AI, you kind of have to understand what you're doing and doing your content intentionally, not just making a post saying you're doing photography. It's just too generic, right? So you have to remember, you're taking advantage of one too many sales. It's not like you're going out and just talking to one person at Starbucks. When you're posting content, sometimes I post video like, let's say YouTube or Facebook will show it to 100 people at least. So if you're sitting there and thinking sometimes like, oh, well, the algorithm is not favoring me, it's just your content sucks, because and I'm brutally honest about it, because you actually have to know what you're doing with your content. It's not just a topic. It's like how you address the topic. Do you have a hook? Do you have a story? Do you have a call to action in your thing? And it's like, on top of that, for those of you guys that have heard the Andromeda update from Facebook, it used to be super simple to like advertise with Facebook, right? Facebook used to just you could just create like one creative, meaning like a graphic or video or like a nice post, and just send it out there with like half naked people, and they would not punish you. It's a different ball game right now. So then they put restrictions in place, so it's not as easy because there's so many people competing for the same market, right? So they started to be more restrictive. Now it's at the point where it's not restrictive, but it also have to be specific. So you kind of have to understand, how do you link with the message in your content to clients that are out there. And the nice thing about it is it's a framework. It's just something you can learn, right? So that's that takes away from like guessing. So it's totally doable, and you're going to be reaching out to clients. And if you get this process down, knowing what you're doing, Facebook will actually help you. YouTube will help you. Instagram will help you, because they will show your message directly to not only to the right people, but to the right people at the stage where they kind of are, and in the process of like buying, because not everybody's ready to buy today, right? Some people will wait 3 months, some people will buy today, some people will buy in 2 weeks. So like, if you understand that game, you're golden, because then you're speaking. It's like every content piece is like walking into a room with like 100 people sitting there in chairs, and like you have another shot at like telling them what you're doing and how you can help them. So one to many, and also one to many here. I say fuel every platform from a single piece, because you can reuse existing piece. I know there is like whole philosophies on like, oh, you should be customizing it to a different platform. If it's just you at the beginning, give yourself a break and take the same content piece and just send it out there. Again, like I said, it's better when it's the same in 2 places than you worrying about customizing because you're overwhelmed because it's too much work, and it's not on both platforms. So once you get better, once you get customers, once you get help, once you can hire somebody to help you, or pay somebody to help you part-time with content game, don't worry about it. That's just my take on this. And I know that if somebody was to tell me those exact words, back a few years ago, like, it just would make my life easier, because I was overthinking. I was stressed out about this whole content game and totally didn't need to. So I'm telling you, you don't need to. Free your creativity. Efficiency gives back your best hours. So yeah, you're not sitting there posting, going to different platforms and posting. Automation takes care of it. It connects to different accounts and it just pushes stuff for you, so you don't have to worry about it. The next slide here is automation is consistency. I already said it. It kind of puts you in front of your client at all times. Automated systems never miss a post, show up for your audience, even when life gets in the way. You know how it is. Even if you have it all planned out and recorded and nicely kind of separated in folders, life happens. Your kids get sick. You get sick. It's like work happens. Your boss calls or whatever. It's like so many things, right, can happen, and it takes very little to like throw you off. It's almost like dieting, right? We're doing good until we don't. So with automation, you just really take part of your week or part of your month to like automate, to just set everything up in place, and then it's just that's it. Like for the entire month, automation takes care of it. Some of my systems that I have run content for, I usually try to go for at least 2 months. Some of them go for like 3 months ahead of time. So like you can imagine, I only I like on one of my systems, I sit down every quarter and I just automate everything. I schedule, put everything in place. Is there more work to it? Like, does it take me an hour to schedule for 3 months? No, but this is exactly like when I work with you. I was working with Jessie recently, and it was the same thing. Like, she just needed some sort of a framework to like, when do I prepare the content? Where do I like maybe edit my clips? And then where do I schedule it? And it's just, we put it together nicely on a calendar. Like, she knows what cadence, what to follow. And that's it. Then you just follow the same mechanism, right? So even if like your day of, let's say, moving clips or writing content or working with AI shifts, it's not an emergency, because it's not like you're missing a day. Now you're inconsistent. The algorithm then will ignore you. It's like automation takes care of this nice cadence that algorithms love so much on all the platforms. So never skip a post. Schedule content goes out on time every time, which is kind of nice because your audience kind of gets used to it. I noticed that if I post content consistently, let's say on YouTube, after a while, I have I noticed there's patterns in how your clients or folks or viewers consume the content. Whoever you're trying to help out there, there's like patterns. They almost expect it at certain times. So even if you're consistent, like with automation, that you're consistent usually around the same time, which is cool. Show up when it's hard. Life gets busy. Your system doesn't care. Already said it. Build audience trust, regular content, credibility, and loyalty. And I already said that too. So those are big items. And then another thing here worth mentioning, not worth, that I have to say, is that you have to test. And I got to tell you, when I remember a few years back when somebody told me I have to look at like analytics, it sounded like going to my math class in 8th grade. I just absolutely hated it with a passion. And it's like I because I didn't know. A lot of times when folks are explaining things to us, language has this sort of, it's just very weird how it works. But like a lot of times when somebody says, hey, you got to test something with numbers, you almost like create this image, what you think it would be. And very often we're wrong. And a lot of times we're overthinking because our brains, has this negative bias. It will always think of like the worst negative thing that, possible. So I remember when somebody was telling me like, oh, you got to look at your numbers and like test your, platforms. I'm like, Jesus, it's like another thing. Like, oh my God, I thought it would be just photography, just like camera and editing. But what I learned quickly was like, it's actually easy. Like there's just 1 or 2 places where you look, and the platforms these days are so easy. It's almost like, think about cameras. 10 years ago, like people still struggle, or like 15 years ago still struggle with ISO. When you were buying entry level like camera, it'd be like, yeah, it can take pictures outside, but like indoors at weddings, it would suck, right? Systems were kind of bad. These days, algorithms plus AI, it's just absolutely mind blowing. So it can actually make your life easy, and you can just respond to it. You don't have to dig and mine through data and numbers and Excel sheets. So don't overthink it. It's actually super easy, and it's actually nice because with automation, you can run to multiple platforms, and then you can look at platforms. Each platform has an area where you can kind of take a peek, right? It's not, you don't analyze anything. You can take a peek and just, you can like I literally eyeball it, and like you can see what's working, right? What content is working, what platform is working better. So that's kind of cool. And this way, when I'm sending it out, I already said, like, Instagram can't care less. And it's not because I chose the different platform over another. It's just like, I don't know, I was posting same content, and seemed like the content that I am comfortable creating, that's easy for me, gets consumed more on, let's say, YouTube than it is on Instagram. It's like, okay, well, that's cool, right? It works. There's reasons why I prefer YouTube, over Instagram, let's say, or Facebook. Facebook is probably, there's like platforms, they all kind of coexist because they're all different. Like, some platforms do something so good, and they're lacking another, like, other features, right? YouTube does something good in terms of retrieval, searching for content, but it's less interactive, right? Facebook, you can interact with people, you can get the engagement, you can talk, you can message, or whatever, but people can't really search, they have to scroll, right? Instagram, more visuals, reels, yes, get promoted, but like, people overall have like an, probably, I don't know, interpretation of like, what, there's a reason why they go to TikTok, because they want to get entertained quickly, right? And get the dopamine going. For Instagram, same thing. For Facebook, we go probably for different reasons, and YouTube for different reasons. So, with automation, I test everywhere at once, run Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok simultaneously, and let the data tell me where to kind of double down and what to double down on. Data driven, fancy word, just ignore it, right? Replace guesswork with real insights, because you see numbers, right? I already said it. Each platform has like a dashboard where you guys can peek. Scale what works, invest more where results show up. Yeah, totally. So that's something, we're keeping things high level. Not going to go into analytics. Maybe we should do an episode on that. Let me know in the comments if that would be something that you guys would like to see. But that's what it is. And then next slide is we're actually going to look at some platforms. So let's do this. Let's go back and forth. I'm going to go back to the slide. So you guys saw this one, parallel testing, and now we're here, Facebook, Instagram flow. I just wanted to like show you some screenshots. Let me see, how are we doing on time? We're doing okay. So here I wanted to show you Facebook, Instagram, one push, two platforms, zero extra effort, super easy. My 13-year-old daughter, now 13, used to be 12. She would do it for like 10 or 15 bucks, once in a while. So she would schedule pieces. I think she was only doing like images, and then I did reels from a different location, which we're also going to cover today. But one push, cross post instantly to both platforms, align calendars, secure content strategy effortlessly, and maximum reach, double your audience with no extra effort. And for this one, very simple. I'm going to switch over here to show you guys. So this is today 12th. Yeah, that's today. That's this week. And you guys can see it's just content staged for both Instagram and Facebook. And if I push reels from a different platform, this calendar picks it up, like it detects it and it goes, oh, okay, there's other content being pushed. So you can see, and it's not, imagine I had to do this manually, right? Like every day I would have to go in and like, oh, this post. It would be insane. So this is what automation is good at. And basically, again, this is not a tactical website. This is more high level, so you guys understand what's going on. But I would create a post, select a photo or video or whatever, with descriptions, with hashtags. All of this is done with AI, by the way. So super nice, super easy, super doable. So that's for those two platforms. Then the other thing is Opus Clip and scheduling, from long to short. I do interviews. I do those longer form videos. I use Opus Clip to handle that work for me. Opus Clip automatically extracts your best moments and turns long form video into scroll stopping clips. So you're now from one content piece, you multiply it. I put 10x, but it's really for me probably like 20, 30x more content from a single video because it's done from a long form. And then 5 hours saved weekly per creator. And imagine like I had to like edit those clips manually, and you don't. This is again AI again at work. And just to show you the visibility, like what does the example look like? Well, here's what it is. This is from a clip. Those clips are from the interview I just did recently with Matt Canterbury, and we did it literally what, Monday, and it's Thursday, and the clips are already there. Cut. I did very little, right? I had to upload. I have already some presets in place. And once you kind of master this area and you know how to kind of quickly adjust and edit, there's really little work. And then I have a calendar here. And this is in addition to the Instagram and Facebook stuff. So you guys can't imagine, like, look at the, do we have something today? March 12th. Look at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see it, but like it says where I'm clicking here in this area here. Can you see it? I hope you can. It says see 20 more. So there's like 22 content pieces scheduled, right, from long form videos, and this is an ongoing list. Automation creates ads, and you're doing very little about it. So so hopefully this is an eye opener too, because this is exactly what helps you. So you're hands off Instagram, Facebook. Now this and this one also feeds into all multiple the multiple sources. I have it linked to my business page, my Facebook profile, to X, to TikTok, to Instagram. So you can see how, like, once that engine is built, how much content you can push out without doing very little, right? And now imagine somebody just posting one content piece, and this is, guys, this is nothing. There are people out there producing. I can't remember. For the Mosey heads out there, Alex always says that. I think it was something ridiculous. I'm going to make it up, but I think it was like 300 content pieces a week, if not a day. Is like absolute insanity, right? So like if you're doing one post and you're like manually, and you're wondering like, oh my god, like nobody see it, nobody really is engaging. Like, yeah, because you have to understand the name of the game. And if somebody can show you exactly like, hey, just got to go here, set it up, click over there, and you're good to go, like suddenly the game changes totally, right? So this actually opens a lot of like, a lot of doors for you. And the last one here that I wanted to show you was just batching with Later. Later is just another platform, also for different social media platforms. I'm just gonna show you a screenshot of this, and this is how you would normally. This is used for multiple platforms. I don't know if you can see it well, but like here where my mouse is, there's actually, you can set up the platforms that you have accounts with. So I have it, like I have LinkedIn here. This is hold on. This is Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, Threads, and Facebook, and even Snapchat, which I don't have it linked. I don't know. Maybe I lost it. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever used it. But if there's anybody successful with Snapchat, let me know. Let's schedule a call. I want to learn. That's I think one platform that I've been super negligent about. So if you are seeing any success, let me know. I would like to learn. But the thing is, here I can come in, and if I'm posting anything right now, it's one platform enabled. I can switch between platforms, or I can enable all platforms and publish all at the same time. So now I have 4 selected, and I can just go here on this thing, and you guys can see there's no content that's shared between like 4 of them. But I can go in here and just schedule one post, and it's going to publish to all the platforms. You set it once, maybe once a week. Maybe you sit down for an hour on Saturday or Sunday. You set it once, and it's going. And the nice thing is, I always tell my clients, it's like if you can at the beginning, it sucks because at the beginning you're creating content for like 2 posts, right? So it's just a game for which there is a framework. But the thing is, once you set it once for like 3 months. You can then repeat it and add more. Then you get to 6 months, and eventually the name of the game is to get to 12 months. And if you're at 12 months, you basically can just recycle your content, because at this point we think that people know and nobody pays attention. That's why this getting attention business is so difficult. Fortunately, again, we have frameworks for it, where it has to run automated. All the content is at one point produced, and you can finally kick back and not do much, because it's repetitive. It comes back and it gets reconsumed, either by the people that originally watched it, or for people that missed it, or new people, or whatever. So batching with later, plan 2 full weeks of content in a single focused session, visualize, schedule, and move on. That's that simple. Brainstorm, generate all ideas in one creative session, visualize, preview your feed before anything goes live, and schedule, push your calendar, and it's down for 2 weeks. And the thing is, I also have a nice, I can't remember where I got it. I think it was one of the ClickFunnels conventions, or maybe one of my coaches, but I got this nice sort of spreadsheet that helps you with, like, people get stuck with like ideas and like, well, what else? They always think that there is like has to be a new idea, but in reality, it's like you think of like one thing to post about, and now with AI, it's super simple. By the way, don't just generate generic stuff, because you're gonna sound as generic as everybody else, and you're not gonna stand out of the crowd. You're gonna become a commodity versus a specialized service or like an identity. You have to be a person. You have to show them who you are. So if you wear yellow glasses, wear your yellow glasses. If you're a stay-home mom with kids and you're a photographer, tell them you're stay-home mom and you're a photographer. If you're from Ireland or Scotland or Mexico, tell them you're from Mexico, because this is how this is, again, this behavioral science behind people buying and selling, where people buy from people. People don't buy from businesses. They have to connect on the identity level with you. So it's very important to know and remember. And then I think we may have one more slide, maybe. Oh no, custom AI. I already did a session last week on custom AI, where you can personalize. Oh my God, I got to tell you, probably 5 episodes wouldn't be enough for me to kind of cover, how great this customization is. Because if you think the automation is cool, like, wait until you see the customized, like, ChatGPT or whatever, when it's trained on your voice and it spits out like content pieces that sound like you, and that talk about you and your product and your prices and your client wins and your business and how you and your philosophy and it. Oh my God, it's just, I can't tell you guys enough. So, but if you're interested, go back last week, check the episode from last week, and it's there. So that I can't say enough about this. Now, all I'm gonna say, your creative co-pilot, a custom GPT trained on your brand voice, ready to spark ideas. The moment creativity runs dry, you can. Oh my God, it's just, I can't say. I'm super excited. I actually, there's Christopher. I think we have a meeting scheduled for early next week. We're setting it up, and it's basically, I'm just so excited for him to see it, because content is one of the things that he struggles with, and it's like, once you have that thing in place, comes with documents and prompts, and you just put it and like spells it out, and it's oh my God, such a relief, right, for somebody usually that struggles with content, or maybe at the beginning when they're learning the content game. So go back, check out the previous episode, and if you have any questions, leave them there or leave them here, and I'll make sure I'll address them. And then your monthly automation checklist. So as I said, I do it every 2 months or every 3 months. If not that I don't post regular content, in addition to that, but it's more of like what happens now. But I don't worry just like about content in general, because that stuff is being published and it's automated. But if I wanted to like add something, if I just did an interview, if I just did like a client session or something, I can add additional content, right? So that's just sort of like a cherry on top, because it's current, right? And then again, this goes into the sort of like a bin of content that's going to be reused later anyway. So it's like, once you grow, once you fill in that cup of content, you're going to be good for a very, very long time. Your monthly automation checklist. One focused day to prep, then let the system work while you grow. So here I'm assuming it's once a month. Prep day, batch content, record clips, write captions, all in one session. So if you have content, you can write it with custom GPT, you can write it using AI. The scripts for the video, it's just a matter of like, hey, sitting and recording clips like this. And then you have to schedule and test. So I would say do it on a different day. Sit down, maybe Saturday, create the content, just record everything, and then Sunday take another hour to just schedule and just kind of test, make sure that it publishes first time to all the platforms, and then refine and scale. Review the data, look at the numbers, like, oh, okay, this stuff totally doesn't work. Let's leave it. This, on the other hand, this stuff totally works. Let's double down. Let's make more clips, or on that particular subject. So you kind of get the idea. Again, reuse your content, automate your content, and definitely you have to start including AI, whether you like it or not, because it's here, and you are competing against the folks that are really good at this game, right? So, by the way, if you need help with any of that stuff, if you have any questions, you guys can actually let's see if I can flash the QR code. So the QR code, if you're on YouTube, maybe you're watching on a big screen, you can scan, and there's a couple different ways of getting in touch with me. One is my personal just DM. You can reach out through Facebook Messenger with questions. Just say hello, say hi, whatever. Let's get the conversation going. And you also have access to like YouTube channel, which if you're watching on YouTube, you don't need that. But there is, I think, link to also school community. I'm in the process of establishing everything there. 3 levels: beginners, intermediate, and advanced. So definitely something to check out, because the plan is to allow probably first 100 people in, no paywall, no nothing, just so we can like see and organize things, and you guys can help me build this in a sense that like with your feedback is super valuable, because like I don't know what you don't know. So it's like whenever somebody responds with comment, it's super helpful. So you can use the QR code, or you can use this link, proimageacademy.com/. It's actually not this link. Where's my link? Did I just get disconnected? Did I just disappear? So it's not this link. It's not start. I thought I had it here. I don't have it here. I don't know. I'm confused. But if you go, start is actually an online survey, and I'll talk about it for a little bit. Let's show it. Why not? If you guys go here, you can actually take an online survey. A lot of photographers, when they reach out to me, they're like, oh, I need help, but they can't really precisely tell me like where the pain points are. So on this, with this link, you can actually take an online assessment, and it actually scores you on different areas of photography. This could be business, camera, editing, client interaction, AI, and automation. So when I get it, it's easy for me to like, if you're asking for, some like tips, I can at least look at the sort of the radar, right? And see like, okay, here's where we need to focus on. Because a lot of times, like I said, people are good with photography and editing, but like 3 core areas usually they probably fall into, right? So, and then within those areas, there's like specific pain points that we fix, and then they suddenly see clients knock on their door. So that's pretty cool. That is it for today. I just wanted to thank you. Thanks for paying with your time. Thanks for taking the time away from your busy schedules. I'll see you next week. I have no idea what I'm talking about yet. If you have an idea or question, hit me up. That is it for today. And and make sure you check out the series of interviews, all new this year, 2026. I have a lot of good names coming up. WPPI, Sync speakers, the Shutterfest, Photo Plus Expo person coming on soon. So it's these guys share all the knowledge, the inner workings of their businesses. Like, they're super transparent. It's called raw format. Check it out, because it's super helpful. Thanks again. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.